What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. New media, let me chop this subject matter up. Andre Ward is facing Alexander Brand August 6th at the Oracle in Oakland. And I want to give my thoughts about it. Make sure you guys subscribe. Go to my website, keeping it updated for you guys. Wrote up a write-up regarding this particular fight. And I'm hearing a lot of different things, so I got to take the new media approach and really break down some actual facts and give my standpoint on this. Now, first, before I start, the videos will be up on the channel probably tomorrow, but thank you and shout out to Virgil Hunter and Andre Ward opening their gym up to me. I was in there last week. Andre Ward is a machine. Wait till you guys see the videos. The man's work ethic is off the chart. I really left inspired because you got to keep in mind his fight was announced 2 days ago and he was training like a mule in there. And he wasn't doing any kind of sparring, but you'll see just crazy jump rope. And I watched him. I literally watched this man train for probably 2.5 hours. He had the power hands, the weighted gloves. He was shadow boxing with weights, doing all this stuff. And after all that was said and done, he went over to the speed bag for 10 minutes and nonstop continuously worked the speed bag with intervals of different rotations of one hand, two hand, sped it up and then slowed it. Man, it's just crazy. You guys will see the footage. But Ward's facing Alexander Brand. Alexander Brand, I keep it real on my channel. He's 39 years old. He's a Colombian puncher, like a Bradis Prescott, who's also Colombian. He has one loss. That sole loss was to Badou Jack in 2012, I believe, and he has 19 KOs. So he's a pretty powerful guy given the competition he's faced. His loss was a split decision to Badou Jack. As we know, Badou Jack is a current champion, so definitely a good fighter who's defended against George Groves. He should have beat Lucien Bute. I talked to Badou Jack personally, and he agrees. He thought it was pretty much a robbery that he got a draw, but he still retained his belt. So that's not that bad for Brand, who he stepped up and he lost a split decision to a guy like Badou Jack. Really not bad. He's coming up from super middle to 175, excuse me. Now, Ward tweeted this: "You have no idea how many opponents we had to go through to get here. It's done, and I'm excited to go to work." So this is his prequel before Sergey Kovalev. He has to look good and get past Alexander Brand, and Kovalev has to get past Isaac Chilemba. Now, the thing is, there's so many. Shout out to Trap Photos. Make sure you guys follow her. My girl, she does photography. Great work. Follow her on Instagram at Trap Photos. Now, the thing that I don't understand, and this is why the purpose of new media, is the double standards, and they're blatant double standards. Kovalev can have a hometown fight in Russia versus Isaac Chilemba. You go to Isaac Chilemba's box rec, he's 24-3-2. He has 10 knockouts in 29 fights for 34% knockout ratio. So clearly he wouldn't be the favorite in Russia to beat Kovalev. I mean, it's just what it is. You look at Kovalev. Kovalev is a power puncher and he's a champion and he's fighting at home. Look, 29 fights or 30 fights, 26 knockouts, 87% knockout ratio. He's pretty tall. I mean, he's a good fighter. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So clearly Chilemba with 34% knockout ratio would not be favored, because as the boxer, when you're going in against a puncher, especially a puncher like Kovalev who can actually box too, then you have to look exceptional, especially when he has the home court advantage, when he has the hometown advantage. You have to look exceptional because all of his shots are going to probably look more impactful because he's the heavy-handed one, right? So Chilemba, to me, has to fight the perfect fight. Andre Ward is just recently moving up and getting acclimated to light heavyweight, right? 52% knockout ratio, undefeated, and he's fighting a guy who at super middleweight was a puncher. You look at Alexander Brand, 73% knockout ratio, but let's keep it real and call it what it is. Both fights, in my opinion, are pretty much tune-ups, and this could be a variety of different reasons, but it's not fair to say, Ward, why didn't he fight Beterbiev? Why didn't Kovalev, as champion, fight Beterbiev? Plus, Beterbiev beat Kovalev in the amateurs, and they have a long-standing beef where they've taken jabs at each other in the media. So why does the guy who moved up, fought the #1 rated Sergey Kovalev mandatory, Sullivan Barrera, knocked him down and beat him in his very first fight at light heavyweight, why does he have to take on Beterbiev, right? Why doesn't Kovalev, the champion, have to? He could fight Isaac Chilemba. So it just goes to show you, it's basically like the Ward haters, it's like they want him to get banged up or potentially get banged up before he goes into the Kovalev fight, because they put a certain standard on him that others, even champions like Kovalev, don't have to follow. People are saying, oh, why did he pick Brand? Why did Kovalev pick Chilemba? You know what I mean? Neither one of them picked Beterbiev. And it also could be a network decision. The network knows that this is an HBO pay-per-view that they're trying to build, so hopefully they don't want anything to stand in the way. You know what I mean? And the thing with that is this boxing is a business, and the world wants to see Ward-Kovalev. The networks have to approve each fight. Like Golovkin, he fought some people and they were not televised by HBO. I think when he fought Adama, he fought him in like Monte Carlo or somewhere. HBO didn't pick that up. They didn't feel they seen the value in that fight. So Triple G did his own thing and he reconnected with HBO later with fights that they were okay with. So the fact that the network approved Brand and Chilemba to televise on their network means they're okay with it. And again, that could be their way of saying, hey, we just want this Ward-Kovalev to pop off, so get a tune-up style fight to prepare you and then just be ready. Another thing, when I talked to Ward personally, and you guys will see as I start dropping the Ward content, he told me it was a hassle to get different people. People fell out for different reasons. Maybe they had something to hide, maybe they didn't want to be used as a stepping stone, and they know the power of a guy like Ward, not necessarily power and power punching, but the skill set and the power of his mind. And you know what I mean, nobody wants to use me as a stepping stone before you fight Kovalev. No one wants to just be that guy, the guy that he fought before he fought the mega fight. You know what I mean? But there were fighters that were getting career high paydays that turned down the fight. So you explain that. And this was also corroborated by Ward's trainer on Dante's Boxing Nation, which is this video right here. Check it out. Virgil Hunter explains why Ward is facing Alexander Brand. So aside from not being able to get certain fights, and Ward told me personally, some of the people that declined career high paydays were undefeated, and we'll just leave it at that. But another thing I noticed is a lot of people, when it comes to boxing, they'll say, why is Ward fighting Brand? This is BS, man. But they don't do like new media. They don't show you. They just say the things. They say, oh, why didn't he fight this guy? But you have to know the sport and follow the sport to understand it. And a lot of guys are actually tied up at light heavyweight. Adonis Stevenson, he's facing Thomas Williams Jr. I watched Williams Jr.'s last fight at the StubHub on the Victor Ortiz Andre Berto 2 rematch, and he brutally knocked out Edwin Rodriguez. So that's 3 people right there that Ward can't fight. Stevenson's fighting Thomas Williams Jr., and Edwin Rodriguez, a guy he already beat at super middle, is fighting, or I mean, he just came off a first round knockout. So I mean, who knows when he's coming back. The other person is a guy he beat before. Yes, it was at 168, but Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson's fighting the ranked Elder Alvarez, July 29th in Canada. So again, that's 2 more people at light heavyweight that he can't fight, one of which he beat at 168. And the whole Chad Dawson said, I'll come to you. So I don't want to hear, oh, he was weight drained and stuff, because he shouldn't have said that. Fonfara fought in Chicago last month. He was a 20-1 favorite, got knocked out in the first round by Joe Smith Jr. So as you go down the list, you'll see there weren't that many people for Ward to choose from. Isaac Chilemba, that's another person Kovalev's fighting, right? Some people are saying, oh, why didn't he fight Joe Smith Jr.? Literally, the world, the boxing world, including myself, no one really even knew who Joe Smith Jr. was 2-3 months ago, right? He looked good. He did his thing versus Fonfara, knocked him out. So he has a buzz going. But at the same time, he just fought. So who's to say he's going to be ready by August 6th? Who's to say his team would even want to fight a guy like crafty guy like Ward right off the heels of the Fonfara? A lot of times teams want to build up their fighters, because you put him in there prematurely and then Ward beats him or dominates him or stops him or whatever, then where you're stuck at square one. Not to mention a lot of people, media, writers, channels, who are condemning the Brand fight but not condemning Kovalev's Chilemba fight. They're not going to tell you this. Joe Smith Jr.'s promoter, DeGuardia, is currently suing Rock Nation, Andre Ward's promoter. So the likelihood that that fight could be made while there's a pending lawsuit is very slim, aside from the other reasons I just told you. Smith Jr., I mean, to me, honestly, Alexander Brand, Smith Jr., neither of these guys would open up as a favorite versus Andre Ward. Let's be honest, right? Brand is not going to be the favorite, just like Smith Jr. wouldn't be the favorite. Yeah, he has a puncher's chance, but so does Brand. You know what I mean? That's what these guys have. So, I mean, writers and people say, oh, why not Joe Smith Jr.? You got to know the facts. Joe Smith Jr., again, there's a lawsuit going between the 2 promoters, and he was virtually unknown 2-3 months ago. So it's not like Joe Smith Jr. is this this powerhouse. I mean, he did his thing versus Fonfara, but he still has more to prove, right? So, I mean, I don't see that as being this hellacious fight for Andre Ward either. You know what I mean? I already talked about Beterbiev. Beterbiev has 10 fights, 10 pro fights. He looks like a machine, looks like a wrecking ball, but there's no guarantee that his people want to put him in there in his 11th fight against the Andre Ward. You know what I mean? He already turned down the Kovalev fight. That's a fight that Beterbiev could have fought, you know what I mean, at this point, because he couldn't fight at that point because he had an injury or something. So the bottom line is the light heavyweight picture, there's a lot of people who are tied up, or the likelihood of those fights happening doesn't make sense. Another person that I heard people mention, why didn't Ward fight 2012 US Olympian Marcus Brown? And this is how I know who knows their boxing, because people just throw out these names, and if you know boxing, you'll know that Marcus Brown just fought this year on a PBC card. I don't want to slaughter his name, but against Radi Kalavic, whatever you say his name, and he won a contested split decision. I watched that fight. It was on the Chris Algieri Errol Spence Jr. fight. It was on the undercard, and I thought Marcus Brown clearly lost. Needless to say, he got knocked down and he didn't look good in that fight, but it was a split decision win. So again, that's another person. Yeah, Ward could have fought Marcus Brown, but who's going to pick him to win when most people thought he lost to Kalavic or whatever his name is, who was an undefeated fighter and now has a blemish that he shouldn't have, because I personally thought that Brown lost to him, right? So when you all boil it down, it's not that many people that were available that made sense, that are way superior to an Alexander Brand fight. The only other people that were pretty much open would be Joe Smith Jr.'s, right? And he wouldn't open up as a favorite. Marcus Brown wouldn't open up as a favorite. Beterbiev, but again, Beterbiev beat Kovalev, and the champion, why doesn't the champion have to fight him? But people want Ward to move up, fight an undefeated Cuban puncher, Sullivan Barrera, then fight Beterbiev, an undefeated puncher, then fight Kovalev, an undefeated puncher. Why does Ward have to move up and fight 3 undefeated punchers in a row, but nobody else does? You know what I mean? Kovalev's not doing that. He can fight Chilemba, really? So the bottom line is this: I don't care if Kovalev's fighting Chilemba, and I don't care that Ward's fighting Brand, because we have on paper, as documented and confirmed by both sides. I personally talked to Kathy Duva, who manages Kovalev's career, and she says the paperwork's already signed for Ward-Kovalev to fight each other, and the only stipulations is that they won't fight at home. We're not fighting in Russia, we're not fighting in Oakland, right? But they've already signed and agreed. That was like the biggest term. We have a date, time, and a venue. T-Mobile Arena in November. So I really don't care. If Ward feels Brand will prepare him for the Kovalev fight, and Kovalev feels Chilemba is enough to prepare him for Ward, so be it. These guys are clearly the best in the division, and it's a meaningful fight. So if they have a tune-up style fight before they prepare up, you know what I mean? Sometimes fighters just want to work on certain things. They know they have a big, major, massive, tough fight between each other in Ward and Kovalev. Why would you not want to tweak certain things so you're fully ready? You know what I mean? No one's going to want to take a fight where you can get all banged up, or, you know what I mean, not get to work on what you need to work on, and then head into a massive, mega, very first HBO pay-per-view, your very first pay-per-view. So both fighters probably want to be ready. I have no problem with that. It is what it is. New media, I broke it down for you guys. Drop in the comment section. Stay tuned, because those Ward training videos will be dropped on the channel, and they're exclusive, courtesy of Boxing Ego. And shout out to Ward, Virgil Hunter. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.